because I don't want to keep us waiting any longer. In the interim, I'll just start engaging with us, pending when she joins. So for those who are just joining us for the first time, for the first session, welcome. But I'd really request so that we have a sense of who is in the room. At least there are some names that are familiar as a result of their attendance last week. But I'm also seeing some new names. So please, in the comment section, introduce yourself and where you're joining us from, and indicate if you were in if you're in last week's class, or if this is your first one. So we just have a sense of the number of people in the room. Thank you. Please do that. My name is Wurala, like I've said. So I'll be looking out for the chat room, so that I can also get that details. So your name, the country you're joining from, and just indicate if you were in the last class or this is your first one. While you are doing that, on the call, I have my team members from the program department who are also here in person of Lillian and Elga. Thanks, guys. I'm trying to check the chat to see if there are any responses yet. Give me a second. Please confirm that you can hear me. So I'm sure that's okay. Awesome. Thank you. Great. Thank you. Thank you, Precious. Precious from Zambia. Okay, attending the first one. Okay. While these responses are coming in, I feel like there's also like another caveat, right? So we also shared the recording of the last class. Did we have anybody who probably took it? So just indicate with your smiley to just know if you watched the recording that we are shared. So you missed the class, yes, but did you get time to watch it? Okay, Jesse Banke, this is your first one as well. Okay, Sisi Ekelo, hope I pronounced it well, please pardon me. Your first time as well. Okay, so I'm seeing 4 first timers here already. Did you guys have the chance to watch the video, the recording? Just indicates with an emoji. Okay, so I'll take that as a no. I didn't get the recording. We shared it, my colleague shared it on WhatsApp, and I shared it via email because I know I did that yesterday. But not a problem, we'll post it again. Also confirm, are you guys in the alumni group? Because there's an alumni WhatsApp group where like real-time communication is happening. You can indicate to speak so that we also hear voice, so that if we need to also drop the alumni group WhatsApp, we can put the link here. You are not.
All right, I think, good day. I think it would be nice you drop it because
okay.
I didn't get any information.
Oh, okay, we'll do that now. Hi, Olga or Lillian, could you please drop that in on the chat room? So we'll drop that WhatsApp link now. Then what we'll also do, now that we know that a number of people probably didn't see the recording, at the end of today's session, we will repost it again, like we'll reshare it again, while we would share this particular session by Wednesday. So not a problem. I'm not in the group as well. Okay, for me, I'm not. I don't think so. I'm not. Okay. So thank you so much for at least we know where we'll be picking up from. Give me a second. Let me check who is still in the room. Okay. Please give me a second. I want to confirm something from someone. ScholarWaka. I want to be sure it's Lucy.
Yeah, this is me.
Okay, hi Lucy. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks. Okay, so we're just doing introduction. So what's currently happening is we're getting a sense of who are in the room, because I noticed some names, meaning that a number of them were not in the class last week. So we've gotten that number of people already, and we've promised to share the recording once again to them so that they can catch up with it. But notwithstanding, we're definitely kicking off with what we planned for for today. So that's just pretty much where we are. So I'll just continue now. Okay. So once again, welcome everyone. For those joining us for the first time, welcome. I really hope that the reason why you showed up today is because you have a sense of that this is very important. So we forgive that you were not here last week, but we are very sure that it's going to be worth your time. We are very sure of that, because at least feedback that we also got from the first session indicates that. So welcome. Today, brief summary for last week Saturday, it was more of understanding what scholarships are and finding the right opportunities. What do you need to do to prepare? So it's more like foundational coverage that we had last week Saturday. But today is going to be very hands-on, and we're going to be sorry, give me a second. We're going to focusing on the scholarship documents that you need, because that's like the integral thing really for your scholarship applications. So that's what today's focus is going to be. So I want to do a quick progress check-in, right? For those that were in class last week, and I'm using class now. For those that were in class last week, what have you done differently? Like, I want to hear voices, right? So that we know that beyond the feedback form that you filled, something really has changed. So did you create a scholarship database that indicated all your goals, the preferred countries, the types of scholarship you want? Did you set up a what's that system? The scholarship application tracker. Have you organized your folders? Have you thought of it and diversified your scholarship strategies? I just want to hear, what have you done differently following last week class? So you can indicate if you like to speak, but we need to hear voices. We need to hear you speak on this, please. Or should I just call any name that I know was in class last week? Let me take the role of a teacher here. Lucy, do I have the go ahead to just call any name that was here last week? Quick one, can anybody hear me? So I'm sure that... Hi Lillian, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Okay,
you.
thank you. Okay, everybody's just quiet. So I'm going to call names because I'm seeing a name that is very, very familiar here. I'm seeing two names really. Hi Favor, this is me coming to you. What have you done differently following last week's class?
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, last week's section was really beautiful, was amazing, and one thing that stood out for me was the fact that I was very contented applying for few scholarship instead of going out there to, look out for more, apply for as many as I can, knowing that my chances will increase. So basically, what I did was to check out the sites, and then I bookmarked some scholarships and their deadlines. So that's exactly what I did. I just bookmarked, and then those criteria that I know that I have, like I did a kind of sorting. Okay, these are things I need to get. These are what I already have. How do I go about it? So basically, the what I did was to scout for it, the ones that suit my profile, the ones that's the course of study I want to study and all that. And I think I was able to get some of them. So that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. I see a response here from Dollis. Thanks, Dollis. So Dollis is saying that for me, I'm currently working on renewing my passports. Exactly. Like that's even the first entry, one of the first entry points, right? So renewing her passport as it's one of the documents to be prepared before applying for any scholarship. Well done, Dollis. Well done, Favor. Hi, Precious. I see your hands raised. You can speak.
Okay, for me, I started looking for a scholarship that is in line with what I want to do, and also preparing documents like recommendation letters from school, since I'm planning to apply next year, not this year.
Okay. Okay. Well done. You're being proactive. Well done with that. Do we have any other person that would like to speak before I now hand over to Lucy? Anybody? Okay, so I'll take that as a no, and we can now hit the road for today's session. So without further ado, I'm now handing the mic over to our facilitator, Lucy, to kickstart it. Thank you so much, Lucy, for the time and for joining in always.
Okay, guys, afternoon. I just want to say this. The kids are just a handful today. So just in case you hear me shout, shout a name. Please pardon me. Okay. All right. Nice to be here again. Day 5. Oh, let's say day 5. Day 2 of our scholarship application process. So just give me a second. I didn't have so much time to work on my slide within the week, so I was just doing like last minute work. And secondly, I was actually hoping to get people's document to review to make it a little bit more personalized as I kind of review and give feedback here. So I will use some that I already have so that at least we all can see how we can approach our different essays. But it's not too late if you are currently applying for any scholarship, or even if it is your previous scholarship you have applied for, you can share that with us. So last class, then I'm also able to go through it. Because the goal is for me to just let's use what someone have used before, right? So we can all see that, okay, so this can be better, this can be improved on. And that's just what I wanted us to achieve. But I will show some examples in this class so that we can use that for today's session. So just like we did last week, we talk through my slides. As we go on, if you have any question, you can let me know, and then I can just answer the question as we go. And then, yeah, next week is the last class, and I hope we're able to cover as many as we can before 5 p.m. Is it 5 p.m.? No, 4 p.m., which is 3 p.m. Okay, let me share my screen right now. Share. Okay, I'll put that in present mode. Yeah, day 2 or oh, I didn't edit my slide well. It's showing ScholarWaka workshop. Last minute work. Pardon me, Biko. Anyways, yeah, I just thought to just talk about a little more about what about ScholarWaka again, what we do and what we represent. So for those who were not here last week, yeah, I would just advise you go through the previous videos. If you missed that class, trust me, you need to watch the first video, because we did lots of how last week, because those how is what is going to drive your, okay, what should I do, right? So please ensure that you watch the what and the how from last week, and today's is like the advanced what and how. Okay, so please watch that videos of the previous class if you haven't done so, right? So for those who are here as well, I will just reintroduce myself very briefly and why I am doing this. So I used to work for WAAW Foundation, WAAW Foundation for a couple of years before I moved to the UK through my fully funded scholarship. And although I currently serve on the WAAW Foundation board, and outside WAAW Foundation, outside my 9 to 5, I love to just share my knowledge, because I applied for scholarship for over 3 years and I had the experience of what it takes to apply and win a scholarship. I decided to do this, which is the ScholarWaka. So this is our new brand, a newborn baby that is 1 year and 2 months old. Yeah, we're just trying to find our feet around, right? But we have been doing a lot, ensuring that individuals are empowered with the access to information about scholarship. Surprisingly, many people don't know scholarship still exists, surprisingly. So the goal is for us to spread the news and also share how best you can utilize these opportunities. There are people who are willing to give you the money to apply for the scholarship. So it is good for you to also be prepared as well. And regardless of your financial background, everyone deserves a chance to study their dream course at their dream country, and also win their dream scholarship. But all of these dreams will come through if you plan and prepare well for it, because there's no preparations, there's no scholarship. That's just what it is. And as ScholarWaka, this is how we support. We provide resources through our website. For those who were not here last week, okay, I'll go through it again shortly as well. So share our information through our website. You're going to see different scholarships can apply for. Like every day is something new on our website, whether scholarships, whether global internship, whether fellowships, opportunities. When you go there, you're going to be overwhelmed. We also share guides, ebooks, how you can also apply for the scholarship. Other than we sharing information with you, we also have our mentorship for those who just want someone to work with them as they apply for scholarship. So yeah, I'll be the mentor if you sign up for our mentorship program. And then we have different services, which includes us helping to review your applications before you submit them. For those who were in last week class, I talked about a lot about requirements for scholarship. Many people do overlook this part of applications, but it is very, very important to check them out before you submit them. And yes, we also have different products as well that we also have to support you. Samples for recommendation letters, personal statements, how your CV should look like. But some of it is what I'll also show to you guys in this class. So, but then we have so many other tools that will be helpful for you as you apply for different scholarship. And please, guys, because we are babies, we are still very, very young. Do well to follow us across all our social media pages. Just type Scholar and Waka. Waka is very easy to remember, right? The name is not so difficult. Scholarship Waka, ScholarWaka. Just follow us across all social media pages. And also me as well. I'm also active across all social media pages as well. So if you want to get daily scholarship updates, you can get all this information on across all our social media pages. So please do follow us to get
the thing.
it. Okay. So for today's day 2 of the workshop, we are going to talk about more about our documents, what it should look like and how it should look like. Then next week, I had to add this part to, this was not in the schedule last week, how to humanize or improve AI-generated drafts. So we are in the AI world. I would say you guys are very lucky. We are like in the lucky era where there's lots of tools to make life easy, which is using AI to help write your applications. However, you need to be smart when you use AI to write them. I have reviewed several applications for people, and I can tell when I see AI generated content. I can tell. You know how AI sounds very perfect or God without mistake. But then we that have the experience can also tell that this was not written by you and this is not you. So how do you use AI to also help enhance application processes for you? So we'll talk about that as well next week, which will be very helpful when you write your personal statement, your essays, even as far as your CV. It's really going to be very helpful. So a quick recap from last week for those who missed the last class. So just a quick recap. Last week we talked about understanding different type of scholarships and even different type of fundings. It's good you know what's available so you know what you are applying for, because you don't want to be everywhere and you are nowhere, right? Secondly, which was something I really talked about last week extensively, is understanding scholarship requirements. If you don't know what they are looking for, whatever you're submitting, you're not even sure what you're submitting. That's just a fruit. I remember I was applying for scholarship for not scholarship, applying for an admission to a school in France. And the school said the statement, motivation letter should be handwritten and hand signed. And I'm like, what kind of stress is this? How do someone write a 1,500 word statement and you want me to handwrite it that is stressful. So if you do not know that, or if you had not understood or read their requirement, you would not know. And this is how they will just filter out those people that they, in fact, you just make life easy for them. Once they open your statement and it is not handwritten, disqualified. So it's good to always understand requirements. And I also demonstrated as well, how do you check? How do you find this requirement? We talked about that as well last week. Then also talk about how to make your scholarship stand out, strategic planning about applying for scholarships, how to begin a application journey, and then where and how to find scholarships. So because of the people that just joined us today, I think I will just do like a quick walkthrough, because I'm not sure if I will do lots of walkthrough through the ScholarWaka site today. I am not so sure. So let me just go through it today. Who can tell me what changed on the websites? We did a major update this week. So can someone tell me what's changed? We just want you to look at the ScholarWaka website. Something major changed just within this week. I just want to be sure if people would know what changed. Can anybody tell me? No one. You can't observe anything that changed from last week and this week. Okay. So our logo changed last week. I think our previous logo was just looking like this. This was what the logo looked like. And this week we have an update on our logo. So which is, you can see someone trying to lead someone. So which is like what we do here. Waka on our name means journey, like we journey with you, we come with you, we, waka with you, we mentor you. So we are just one of those people that help to ensure that we give you all the information you need as you're seeking green pasture, as you're planning to japa or seeking green pasture. So yeah, that's our logo change. So for those who were not here last week, I talked about how to assess, how to explore different scholarships we have on our website. As you can see, there are lots of information here. In the last 1 week, there have been a lot of updates on the website. So if you're looking for scholarship, just come here. And how do you find scholarships? You can come through scholarship by countries. So scholarship in the US, in Africa, in the UK, wherever you can find scholarship through this means. If you're looking for scholarship in the UK, just click on scholarships in UK, and everything we have about UK scholarships, you're going to find them here, whether for masters, for BSc, for PhDs. You can also find also by scholarship by levels. If you're looking for undergraduate, masters, or PhDs, or even internship and fellowships as well, you can see, you can check and see what's available. And very importantly as well, we have our study guide page, where we ensure that all the how-tos you need, they are here. All the how-tos. So how to create a scholarship application plan, how to whatever. So yeah, the guides you need to get you prepared. I heard someone say she's already planning or preparing for next year application, which is a very good way to go. I think today's class will be very, very useful for you, because since you're just starting, it will be good for you to get it right? So you don't go pick up bad habits and then run with it. Rather, you're just learning to know what to do and how to do it. So just come here and explore. Okay, just come to our site and explore. If you need any of our services, just at the downside here, you will see so many different ways we can support you. So I just thought to mention that before we get into today's session. Okay, so last week I know I displayed this part of scholarship documents you need. So it's very important for you to note that if you have the right document or you are well prepared, you're already 50% into getting a scholarship. Yeah, Wura is a scholarship manager, so she will understand when she requests for documents from applicants. if they don't give it to her, I don't want stress. I have over 2,000 people that have applied for the scholarship. If one person is not giving me what I want, that's already a disqualification. So you want that when a scholarship committee sees your document, they should be happy to want to look at it. For me, I have reviewed several CVs, whether for jobs, whether for scholarships, for whatsoever. But then when I see a CV, there are some that first impression we just say, you know what kind of CV is this? I don't want to look further. Why some you are eager to see what more does this person have to offer, right? So we want to ensure that you have the right documents as you apply for different scholarships. So the first thing you need when applying for scholarship is your national ID, but preferably, please have an international passport. If you can't afford it for now, you can manage to use a national ID. But most scholarships will prefer you use an international passport, because if you are planning to travel, you're planning for you have to take the leap of faith to have a passport, and you believe that, oh, by this year or sooner I'm going to get my award. So get a passport so you have your documents ready. Academic transcript is very important. So because I'm talking to just graduates here, right? Graduates here. So I wouldn't go into talking about how your transcript should look like if you're applying for a BSc scholarship. So for those who are just completing their high schools, so if I was talking to our our college fellows, I would have stressed on academic transcript for BSc applicants, because they mentor young girls at the secondary school level. So it would be good to talk to them about that, but I won't focus on that. So not that you need that your academic transcript for you to apply for scholarship, you need a certificate, you need recommendation letters, very important, which I'm going to talk about as well. Your CV should be in a good place, motivation letters, scholarship essays, proof of achievement. If you have any awards, certificates you have gotten, it's good to shout them as well. English language proficiency letter. So this, and also the proficiency test. This is something that I usually advise, that if you can afford to write an IELTS, write the English language proficiency test, it will be good you write it, because once you have an IELTS, it means that you can apply for any scholarships at all. Whether they need it or not, you have it. But another thing for you to know is that about 95% of scholarship may not require it if you are from an English-speaking country. So for those who are from like Nigeria, Ghana, and other African countries that speak English, or we are taught in English language, having an English language proficiency letter from your university could fly. But some schools will say, no, you must give me IELTS. So, which is something that you need to just consider. For those applying for master's in research or PhD, you surely need a research proposal. And for some other scholarships as well, they might need other documents like proof of income or whatever. But do well to always read scholarship requirements carefully, so that you can provide whatever document that they require, other than the standard documents that they require. Okay. Any question? Please give me a second. I don't know where you're hitting the floor. Please, sit on the bed. You're hitting the floor, and that's not nice. Is that okay, Tega? Be a good girl. Stop hitting the floor. You're sleeping. Let the door open. Let me see what you guys are doing. Okay. You can shut it. And Tega, can you stop? Tega. Okay, so writing strong documents. So yeah, some very key things that you need to be aware of when preparing your document. The first thing I always say is your document should look like each other. They should align. So here's what I mean by alignment, right? So I will use WAAW Foundation Scholarship for as an example, or let me just use a general application. So if you're applying for a scholarship, the one thing to submit is a CV, a personal statement, and recommendation letters. So I want to talk about how these three things can be aligned to each other. So when submitting your CV, it shows your academic record. It shows your academic record, or you went to XYZ university. It shows that you had worked at XYZ company. And also, it also shows probably where you have done internship or whatever, right? And then you have a recommendation letter from any of these places you have written in your CV, right? So if I look at your CV and you said in your CV you work with WAAW Foundation and you said you have done this with WAAW Foundation, if I get the letter that WURA is recommending you for scholarship for, can I see you in the letter that WURA have written for you? So there should be an alignment between what you are saying in your CV and your personal document and what your recommendation letter is also saying. Likewise, your personal statement, because that's why it is called personal statement. It is your own statement. So I should also be able to see that the work you had done while you were doing a professional job or while you were doing internship or while you were doing volunteering, they should also reflect as well in your statement. So I don't need to be cracking my head to say, okay, why is there a gap in in all of your documents? So they should all align in terms of your stories, your experience, or whatever you have in these letters. And very importantly, your documents should be on a letterhead, which is like your recommendation letters, um, maybe your letter of proficiency from a university. What else again? Your transcript, of course, it should be on a letterheaded paper, signed, and if possible, they can be stamped for the ones that need to be stamped. Of course, a transcript should be stamped by the school, so that makes it look very authentic. And also avoid what will lead or what will make your document look very weak. So what makes document looks weak are when you make mistakes on your document. For instance, some people have 3 names, some people have 2 names. Now, name arrangement is a problem. I have my surname and I have my first name and my middle name. My first name is Ejiro, my middle name is Lucy. So if I am using my official document, what is the first name I write? I want to ensure that Ejiro that I have claimed is my first name should be the first name across all my documents. Not when you see my CV, you are seeing Ejiro, and then when you carry my personal statement or when you carry my passport, you are seeing Lucy as my first name. So name alignment is very important. Another thing is that leads to weak documents is date of birth. Some people also make mistakes when it comes to date of birth. Maybe when you were writing during school made a mistake and they did not use the right date or the right month for you. Those lead to weak documents, and which is very important as well. It is good you check and align them, because if you don't do so, when you're applying for visa, they will reject visa application, because when it comes to the Western world, they don't joke with your biodata information. It is key thing for them. So they don't want to see that your names are not aligning or they are mistakes. So it is at this phase you try to fix them. Now, someone will ask me, how do I fix my documents that are not well aligned or that are weak? The best way to do it, I don't know about other countries, but what we do in Nigeria is we do swear affidavits to correct or to state that, oh, this is what it ought to look like and this is what it ought to look like. So an affidavit can correct those. For we women who we get married and we change our names to our husband's name, affidavit will also solve that for us. So that's not a problem. It's like a very similar thing when it comes to women who are married and then they're applying for further studies. So I just thought to mention that your document should be very, very good enough so that if I pick any of your documents, they all look like you and not me trying to stress my head to say, is this the same person I am looking at? The other thing is please read instructions carefully before you submit your applications. I have just said that I've seen a school told me to someone to write a recommendation letter, no, write a personal statement handwritten, like paper and biro, then hand sign. So if you do not know or you have not seen that, they also mentioned dated. So imagine not reading the instruction and you forget to write the dates while you have handwritten your statement. That's already a failure already. So I would say always carefully read your instructions before preparing your document and be intentional and also for recommendation letters, which is also very, very important. I'll talk about that extensively. Know who you are using to who will be your recommender or will be your referee for your applications. They are very key people, but talk about that later. And also align your goals to scholarship values. Different scholarships have their own values. For instance, applying for Commonwealth scholarships, they're more about development and what solution do you want to offer to your country. So in that way, ensure that when you're writing your essays, your document should be aligned to their values. So when you see a scholarship, you will tell what their value is because they will say it or they talk about it in when they write their scholarship advert. So for those who missed the class last week, go watch this video and you will see what I am talking about. Any question about this before I move forward? Okay. Next is also about requirements, right? So sometimes it is also very important that when applying for scholarship, do not just read a scholarship information from the surface. So what I mean by surface is sometimes there are some hidden information you're going to see in a scholarship that until you read, as in until you take your time to read the instructions, you will not know what is there. So I opened the scholarship. Oh, did I close that? So the scholarship I had open earlier. Let me check my history. Okay, this one. So I had a scholarship open. It's a PhD scholarship, right? PhD in management. And then you can see they said it includes you doing a 1-year master's program and 4 years PhD program, meaning that you're going to do your PhD for 4 years. So it's a master's plus PhD. Now, when someone comes here, they will all be like, oh, it's a PhD scholarship. Oh, I don't think I'm qualified because I don't have a master's degree. So I know we had lots of questions about this last week where someone asked, oh, do I need to have a BSc? Must I have a master's before I apply for a PhD? This is one of those examples that you're going to see where they have said that you can apply for their master's, you can apply for their PhD, even if you do not have a master's. So I don't want to go through everything. I'll just go down to where they have the instruction. It's very hidden, right? Because I have gone through this before. I'll be able to find my way around where it is. Oh, take okay, so this is what it said. Okay, so here they have said that so this is scholarship requirements and admission criteria. So the first thing they said is they recruit highly motivated individuals from whatever background. They said the ideal candidate for the scholarship should have a first-class bachelor's degree from the UK or any other country, right? And then if you go further, you see what they said that also note that master's degree is not required for admission that you can also apply if you have only undergraduate degrees, right? So that is one thing they have mentioned here. And see another requirement here that everybody applying for this scholarship should also either have a GMAT test or a GROE test. So I didn't add this to the list of my documents. This is why I said that you also have to check what other schools are, what other scholarship, what other requirement they are requesting for, because there might be other things that they are requesting for that ordinarily you would not know that they might request for it, because different scholarships have their own requirements, right? So you want to know what they need. So they have said, this particular scholarship has said they need a GROE or GMAT. So if you do not check, you will not know, right? And yet they also said, oh, they need the IELTS, whatever. So this is where you do lots of work. You do lots of the checking before you begin any application or before you begin anything. So I just thought to mention that, and then you can see a list of all their documents here. Now, see what they said about their personal statement. They said 2 to 3 pages of personal statement or research proposal. And they've given you an alignment, and they are dedicated to what they want you to write about. So, mean that you cannot, I'll talk about that when I get to the session of personal statement. So, it's just to mention to you that, knowing instructions or knowing what they are looking for is very important. In fact, for me, I would say before you do any final submission, take a pause and go back to read scholarship information again, and to be sure that you have ticked all the boxes before you click on the submit button. Okay. Now, another thing I just wanted to mention as well, which is also part of requirements and everything I just talked about, is check for Treasury. You have to go so that you guys don't distract me. Yeah. So you have to also, like I said earlier, check everything before you begin applications. What is the required document? The scholarship will say your documents must be a PDF. I think the one that I've said it must be a Word document. They are very serious about that. And I've seen the one that have said they have word limits, they have page limit. If the scholarship says no more than 2 pages and you want to do 2 page and 1 line, you have already made that mistake. Some, like the type of Swedish government scholarship, they will give you the font size and the font name. If some people tell you use this font name, right? So just know what they want. So a scholarship as well that will tell you to name your document in a particular format. This example is specifically from the Swedish government scholarship. They will tell you, name your document like this. No other way. So for them, this is the only way they can filter out those people who do not read instructions. So always double check all of this. And of course, deadlines. And like I said last week as well, please create a checklist or use a tracker to help you put yourself on check. Sometimes you might overlook some of them. You might not even remember to say, okay, this is what the requirements are. But if you have a tracker that have all of this in place, it makes it easy for you. On your tracker, you can add a note, and then when you want to submit your application, you're going to to say, okay, what have I put down here as the main information? We have a copy of the tracker on our website. You can also go there and get a copy for yourself if you need an already prepared one for you. It is very important because any mistake can take the place of your scholarship. So you don't want that to happen to you. All right. So now let's start with CV. How should a CV look like? Yeah, just like the way you apply for a job and you take your time to write your CV, that's also how it looks like when you're also applying for scholarship. I'll show you an example of different type of CV, right? Now, there are different type of CV formats. For those who are applying to scholarships in Europe, if you're applying for any scholarship in Europe, some scholarship might tell you that you should write your scholarship, you should write you should use the Europass CV. So Europass CV is a type of CV that is encouraged or preferred to be used if you're applying for scholarships or even jobs in Europe, right? Why for countries like UK, they don't have a specific CV format. So you can use a standard normal CV format. Your preferred template is fine. But then it is good to double check. For those who applied for the Swedish government scholarship that closed a few months ago, Swedish government scholarship, they have their own CV templates. Use their template. They don't care whatever template you had before. They'll give you a structure of what it should look like, and they even give you the font name and the font size. That is what Swedish scholarship does. They have their own template for CV, their own template for recommendation letter. So if you do not know, you may just want to submit what you have, but then you have missed that already. So be careful and be sure that you know the layout you're using or type of CV that you are creating for every application. Some may mention it, some may not, but just be sure that you have checked to see. Like we saw in some scholarship will say your CV should not be more than 2 pages long. So also double check to see what requirement they need from you as well as you write your CV. Now, we all know that when writing a CV, these are basic requirements of what you're going to find in a CV. I would say make it 2 to 3 pages long. But if you have amazing experiences that are also very good, you want to add to your CV that may make it longer than this, that's fine. But if the scholarship says no more than 2 pages or no more than 3 pages, then you have to stick to what they want. So ensure that you follow a good structure as well. So I'll just show you guys quickly what a CV should look like. I have opened an example of 2 type of CV. Did I open this other one? No. Let me see. Okay. So the other day, that was sometime last year. This person is applying for a particular, not a scholarship, is applying for schools across Europe, because I also, for those who want to apply for schools and you're looking for affordable countries to study at, I also offer this kind of services as well. So this was one of my clients, and I asked for her CV, and this was what I got. I was like, what is this? What are we going to use this CV to do? So imagine using this CV to apply for scholarship. It contains your information, right? But there are so many information here, or the formatting, as in there's just too many unnecessary mistakes everywhere. Wrong formatting, inconsistent format, you can see different spaces. Consistency is a key thing, right? There's a way somebody will see your CV and they just have this peace of mind that, oh, this application is not going to stress me, right? So which is one of the things that I always advise, that when you have a CV, take your time to create a good CV template, right? Some people also write CV using ChatGPT as well, which is good. But I also say that whatever you are using to create your CV or write your CV, make it personalized. Let it sound like it is you, so that when they pick up your application, it looks like you. So when I received the CV, obviously I can't use this to apply to schools, because of course I'm a professional that is experienced in this field. How do you talk about your job role and you're just putting one line of what you are doing? You lead a team of vision-driven individuals to empower whatever. This cannot be like the only discussion about what you do, right? So then there are so many mistakes here. Inconsistency, font name, font size, everything is just doing this template. Now I had to refine it to look like this, right? Now, if you look at this and you look at this, at first impression, you can tell that, okay, this looks more organized. This looks more presentable. And when you're looking for something, let's say you want to go and check what our leadership of Volunteering Express are, you know where to go to get what you want. So it's quite easier to see what you are writing. So people will also say, oh, how do I ensure that my job descriptions is also well aligned? This is where I'll talk about AI next week. We have AI, right? ChatGPT is there to help you make life easy. If you are not sure what to write, thank God you can talk to the ChatGPT app and it will give you your words and refine it for you. So it's either you talk to it and it helps you to list out your job description here, or you can also go on the internet and check for what is the role of a business development manager or whatever lead. You will see ideas or different list of what this role is all about. You go there, pick the ones that align to what you do. Please do not just copy and paste what you see from the internet or what the AI tool have generated for you. Whatever you're writing, let it be personalized to what you really do. Because the AI tool or whatever you're going to pick from the internet is going to give you fantastic descriptions. But is that you? Can you defend that? Remember, I said that your CV must align to your personal statement and should also align to your recommendation letter. Imagine Lillian wants to apply for scholarship and then she went to write AI generated description from what foundation job she's doing. And what she's writing is not what she does not even have an idea of what she's trying to put together. And then Rura want to give her recommendation letter for a scholarship. Mean that what Rura is giving to her based on what she's actually doing will be different from what she has put on her CV because she has got to copy the CV description maybe from an AI generated information or from the internet. So ensure that whatever you're writing on your CV as well, they align to what you actually do. It just helps you to make it look good and better. And then if you have done internships, please do not ignore those experiences. Even if it is 1 month, you work there, even if it's 2 months, those experiences are also very good to add to your application. So internship opportunities, you had a part-time job that you think you can talk about, or you know, just add them to your CV to also make it look good. But then if I were to be talking to someone who wants to apply for a BSc scholarship, I will advise them in a different way. So because I don't have people applying for BSc scholarships here, so I won't go into that because we already have like graduates who have done one or other type of jobs or experiences. So I won't go into that. But ensure that when you are writing your CV, it is very detailed. Then this session here, where usually sometimes people do not pay close attention to, which is your personal profile, it is one of the most important parts of your CV because when someone picks up your CV, what they look at for, what they see first or they look at for first is what is the summary of this person's experience. So this is a very key important part of what should be well written in your CV. So if you're also not sure how to do it, it is quite very easy. First thing I do is write every other part of your CV, put them in good place. And once you are done, you can copy all of these, put them into the AI tool, and it will help you summarize your CV for you to get a personal profile. However, whatever it will give to you that looks very perfect, try to ensure that you personalize them to sound like you and to be like you. So it does not sound it is AI written, rather it is something that is actually what you have done and you can also defend. Okay. Any question regarding this? Regarding how to go about CV, how to write CVs?
Hi, if anybody wants to speak, you can indicate or you can drop your question in the chat if you're unable to speak.
All right. So because of time, I will just get on because we have an hour more. So I'll go back to my class. So that's how I would advise that you have your CV in place. So it looks good and personalized. If you know your CV is not looking fine like this, please go and work on it. Okay, please work on it. And I also talked about Europe past CV, right? I'm not supposed to say this girl's information here, but yeah. So this is what a Europe past CV looks like. I'll just flash it very quickly. So it looks like this. It comes already. They have a site where you have to create your Europe past CV, right? So you just want to put in your information. So the way this one works, or advice is, have your normal CV typed out already before you go create your Europass CV. So once you come here, you just copy and paste them into your Europass CV. And Europass CV is mostly used when you're applying to schools in Europe, right? So just note that as you apply for scholarships or as you apply for different scholarships. So I just thought to mention that. All right. And I think we also have on our site as well, ScholarWaka website, I think we also have some CV related, how to write a strong CV, how to write CV for Erasmus scholarship. So we have some CV related content here as well that you can come here to check. A good thing to also use is our search bar, whatever you're looking for. If you search for it, you are surely going to see information. So this is about personal statement. If you search there, you're going to see something that will pop up, and just like that. Okay, let's ride on. So next is recommendation letter. So this is another very crucial and important information or document people also do not pay attention to. For a standard, should I call it a regular? I don't know how to describe this type of recommendation. This type of referees. There's some referees that when you request for a recommendation letter from them, they don't mind even giving you just 2 lines. Oh, I know Ura. Ura is very intelligent. She's very hardworking. She's mentally stable, and please give her the scholarship. That is their recommendation. Those, let me call them lazy referees that sometimes you choose. So be very careful who you choose to be who you choose to provide you a reference. However, I also advise that for anybody you want to choose or you are using for your reference, please try to give them a draft to make life easy for you. Although you are not there when they want to submit the application, assuming the school sends the request to their email directly, you will not be there when they submit it, but you are hopeful that they are good enough to submit a good reference on your behalf, even when you give them a draft. So it is very important for you to, get the right persons for recommendation. So most weak recommendation letter happens because applicant sends poor or incomplete request. A strong request make it easy for a referee to write for you. So this is where I talk about, better still, please give your referees a powerful draft that they can use to write you a recommendation letter. Now, when writing a recommendation letter, it is advisable that it should be written on an official letterhead. It should be dated and it should be signed. It should also contain the referee's contact information. If possible, specify the scholarship you are applying for. So this part here, it is a very tricky one because sometimes, how do I explain this one? Because this is one of the questions people do always ask. Sometimes we do not have all the access to the person we want to be using for recommendations, right? We do not have the direct access. So here is how most people do it, which it is not recommend, which is not the recommended process. But if you do not have any option, you can go with that. Now, when applying for scholarships or requesting for reference from a recommendation for reference that from your referees, most people will just say, you know what, just say to whom it may concern. Because if you add the name of the scholarship to that letter, what if I have another 10 I want to apply for? Does that mean that you will you will have to give me 10 recommendation letters? So it depends on who is giving you the reference or who you are using for the reference. Another thing that when somebody's that reminds me, somebody even I remember I saw a reference request from someone applying for a scholarship. I can't remember the deadline, so I need to even go check. And the person did not even tell me that, Lucy, you're going to get a recommendation letter request, a recommendation request. So it's good to also communicate with your referee. Don't just send a reference and then you just let them be, because they're also busy with their lives as well, right? So you want to be around to make the process easy for them. So give them a draft. If they are always available to give you letters, then specify the scholarship in the letter. If not, make it generic. Just do not put a specific name of school or a specific name of scholarship so you can reuse it. But there are scholarships that we request that the letter should be addressed to them. There was one I reviewed recently, a humanitarian scholarship in the UK, and scholarship had their own scholarship structure, how they want you to how they want to refer to write the letter, right? And they mentioned that it should be addressed to this address. So in that case, you don't have a choice than to provide a letter that aligns to what the scholarship is requesting for. So this also boils down to, please check requirements before you start writing. Okay. And also, let your recommendation letters highlight your strength, your achievements, and or your growth. Very important. This is where alignment with your CV comes in, because on your CV, you have to talk about your growth, your achievements, your experiences. So let it also highlight, or let's so also highlight that as well in your applications, on your letter, that they'll be submitting on your behalf. Now, when you're choosing your referee, please just choose the right person. I know it's difficult to find the perfect person for your applications or for your reference, but please try to get people who are credible or in credible positions. It can be your colleague, it can be your lecturer, your manager, whatever, people who can say positive things about you, but avoid using your family member, your friends, or referees who barely know you. Most times, our referees don't even know us, because, especially if they are, let's say, academic reference that you were done with school like 5 years ago, and you have to go back to them. They don't know you. So that is where you have to write a draft for them to be able to, you know, provide something for you. So I also have like a draft of recommendation letter here as well. I want to share with you guys. So this is a draft of letter for this is a draft academic letter. So note that there are, as I said this earlier, there are different type of recommendation letters. We have the academic reference letter, we have the professional reference letter. Some scholarship will say you should provide a personal reference letter. Now, academic, as it sounds, is anything from your previous study or your current study. Anywhere around the academics, get one letter from there, right? So if you're applying for a master's program, it's ideal that you get a letter from your bachelor's program. And then someone applying for BSc, we get from their secondary school or high school. Then professional is wherever you have gotten any work experience, whether internship experience, whether full-time job experience, get one from your job. Then when you see anything called personal, you will barely see that type of reference, but sometimes they request for it. So that can be from a mentor, right? A mentor can be your personal reference or personal referee. So that's it. So it's an example of what an academic reference look like. So as you can see, the talk about you're writing a reference for the person. But this is coming from your referee. So you can give them a draft and then they can, use that to provide something for you. Most scholarship will say it is good to state how long you have known the person. So talk about how long you have known the person applying for the program. As you can see, this is a generic reference letter. It's not addressed to any school or any scholarship. But if it addresses to a particular scholarship, maybe somewhere here, you might write, or maybe to the admission committee or to the scholarship committee, whatever. And maybe write the name of the organization. Assuming you're writing this to Wura, who is the scholarship committee or scholarship manager for WAAW Foundation, you can say to the scholarship committee, WAAW Foundation, right? So if you want to write a personalized reference letter, you can address it to them, or you can just say to whom it may concern. If you know that do not have access to the person always to provide a reference letter. Okay, and then you can see the information I talk about here, how long I have known you, how, and also where I knew you. So the lecturer has said I taught her at this department, at this school, and then during her study, she was good in class and she was among the 10%. So you want to add some numbers. Of course, your recommendation letter talk about your achievement, the good things you have been up to. So it's good to also mention it as well. You graduated with a first class or a 2-1, it's okay for your referee to mention it as well in your personal statement. And also, there are also other generic information about your personality as well. That's good to add. If you were involved in leadership in school, volunteering, your lecturer could also add that as well. Let's say you were a class rep, or you were involved in leadership or volunteering, whatever, mention it as well in your letter. And very importantly as well, it's good to also mention your proficiency in English, because you know that many scholarships do ask about proficiency in English language. So it would be good to see that your lecturer is mentioning that in your essay or in your reference letter, right? So it just helps. So this is just like a sample, but you can always write it to fit whatever you're applying for. There are some scholarships that also have word count. I've seen the one that have no more than 200 words. I've seen the one that have said no more than 500 words. So it depends on the type of scholarship you're applying for and if they have requirements. So please follow the requirement very closely. And of course, add the information of your referees just in case they want to reach out to them. Now, if you are writing a professional reference letter, it is quite different from academic reference letter. It is quite different from that. So for academic reference letter, this is the one you talk about your work experience. Your work experience. So you might talk about how your CV aligns to your reference letters, right? Now, if this is the same person's CV that I have talked about. So this was her CV. This person's CV. This is the letter I talked about. She studied biochemistry at University of Benin, right? And if you go to her CV, you will see that information as well in her CV, right? And then now I'm talking about her professional reference. So I should be able to also see what our referee is claiming here. I want to see that as well on her CV. It just make it easy for me to say this person is authentic or this person is real. It's not forging, because even if you want to lie, please let me even say this. Even there are people who write applications and they lie in their applications. They can tell you, oh, I have been working for 20 years. So far, they can get reference or evidence to what they are saying. There's no problem. You can lie. You can make your letter, your stories look really good. But when you're lying in your essays, please make your lies consistent. As you are lying, write them down so you don't forget the lies that you have lied. I was reading somebody's late essay some time ago, and at the top he said, I'm applying for this scholarship because the storyline was around, oh, when he was a young boy, he was bullied, And that is why he wants to study law, and because you don't like it when people oppress others. That's why I was studying law. And then okay, oh, that's fine. That's a good reason. Then I went down and I saw him saying something different again from, oh, I want to study law because my mother is this. As in, the story changed again. I was like, no, this is not making sense. If you have saying you're studying law because of this reason, stick to it or mention everything. Let the story make sense. You can't say something different at the beginning and then at the end, you say something different. So also align as well to your document. Water bottle. Everything is aligning, right? So here is a reference letter from professional talking about where she has served, how long she has been with them, and what she did. And here, paragraph 2, you see the person talking about what she did while she was working with them as a quality control intern. Talking about how she helped with her laboratory skills, help with analytical assessment, clinical, whatever she has done. You can see them here. So if I go back to her CV, where she talked about working in Sarah Forms, which is this job description, you can also see that it also aligns. Whatever the referee has mentioned that she is doing or she did when working with them, I can see the relationship as well on her CV. So the short and long story is, please let all your stories align. Even if you want to lie to make it look better, please make your lies consistent. Same thing here as well. This is an experience at another company as well, where she worked as quality operations analyst. And you can see where you talk about how she was doing her job, different meetings that she has done. And if you come to her CV as well, you're going to see those information here. So it's good to mention these things as well in your essays. Like I said, ChatGPT can help you bring all of this to life. But these days, you don't need to stress your life to put things together. Just give it the prompt of what you want it to give to you. Just give it the right prompt and it will give you a very good draft. But when the draft come out, try to clean it up for whatever you're presenting to look real, to sound real, and to look like you. Okay? So that's it for recommendation later. Any question? Let me stop sharing so I can find. I want to show an example. But yeah, any question from anyone? I have been talking since, so let's get some questions. Okay, so since there's no question, let me go again. So I just dug out a reference letter that I recently reviewed for someone. This person is applying for a humanitarian scholarship in the UK, and the reference, and they came English, and they had their own reference letter requirement. So this is what they said that you must have or present in your reference letter. So you can see they said your reference letter must be part of your application, and the person that's referring you must have known you for at least 2 years. Okay? And the person should also have a good standing in your community. And they talk about who can give you your reference. It's also mentioned here. And then they said not more than 500 words. Okay? And they also said your letter should cover the following. So these are the key areas they want you to talk about in your reference. So you can see that if you had a normal general reference letter you had gotten before, that cannot work for this kind of scholarship. They also said the reference should be addressed to this is the scholarship, right? So you can see that different scholarships have different requirements. Some, they don't care how you write your reference or what it should look like. But then for some, you have to follow their process. So do well to always double check. And this is what the reference looks like after writing everything based on the person's requirement or based on the scholarship requirement. This is what the scholarship look like. So people do, send the document to me to review them before they submit. So we can ensure that it meets the requirement, or we can even help you to write it to meet, because this particular scholarship was something around people who are faced with conflict or whatever in their community. So the person was not sure how to write the story. I was like, you know what, send me a voice note of what you think your storyline looks like, and I can put that voice note into writing for you. Right. So sometimes that is where ChatGPT also comes in to also help you to do this, yourself. Okay, so please always ensure that you follow those requirements, check carefully before you write your whatever for recommendation letter. So now let's get into personal statement. So this is one of, everything I've said, they're all one of the most important. So this is another one. This is another one of the most important documents when applying for scholarship. Now, when applying for or submitting application for scholarship, actually when it comes to statement and essay, it is very easy to tell when you are writing an essay and it is not from you and it is not you. For those who do not write their essays they just use AI to generate something for them. Right? I said that earlier, we can always tell. So a statement is called personal because they want to know more about you and how you want the scholarship to help you or the study to help you. So we want to clearly see who you are, what drives you, what you have accomplished, why the program you're applying for, why now, and how you are a strong fit. Now, this particular session where it talks about why the program, personally, when I'm reviewing a statement for people, I always want to see, or I want to know if you have really researched about the school you are applying for. It's okay for you to write so many words in your personal statement, but how well have you researched the school in terms of what are the courses they're going to offer? What are the course curriculum? What are the modules? What are the school facilities that will also help enhance your study at this school? And of all of this you're doing, the courses you're learning, how will that also enhance your knowledge so that after school, if you're going back to your home country or whatever, you can use that to help the next phase of your life. So it just shows that you really know what you're writing. It shows how authentic your statement is, and also give a sense of direction to your writing. So back again to scholarship. I can see everything I'm saying is please always check requirement. Do not write scholarship personal statement blindly or essays blindly. You need to research to know what the school wants you to write about or what the scholarship wants you to write about. For instance, if you come to me today and say, Lucy, can you help me review my personal statement? If you send it to me, first thing I will ask you is, what are the guidelines to write this personal statement? You can't write the personal statement from the blues. It is not possible. Although some schools may not give you specific guidelines to write it this, and this, but many schools does that. So if the school does, or if you are not sure, it's good for you to check. And I'm going to show you an example of how you can find guidelines from school website to know what their scholarship or what their personal statement guidelines is. So note that you can't write blindly when writing a personal statement. Secondly, also know that word count. Some will say no more than 500 words. Some will say no more than 2 pages. Check to be sure what they want to write about. And you can also do your pre-writing preparation. So, like there's someone I reviewed an essay recently. The essay says no more than 500 words, but the girl poured out her life into writing and gave me over 3,000 words. And I'm like, where do I start from? So what she has done is, which is what I also tell people that I review the application for, I'll tell them, write as many as you can write about you. Because even if you want me to apply for scholarships for you, I can do it for you. But the truth is, I cannot submit the right applications for you without you. I'm a professional who knows how this thing works, but I am not you who can tell your story or who knows what's inside of you. So I do say pour out everything. So that is where the pre-writing preparations comes in. First of all, write your draft, very roughly written. All your ideas, whatever you have in your head is in that draft, and then you begin to cut down, to refine, to fit what you are trying to achieve. So it's good that once you do all of those your research, you get to have an idea of what you're trying to achieve, and that will help you to put them together. And also you can get all of this information from the school website, which I'm also going to show you how you're going to find them. Now, while writing your personal statement, we already know that these steps I have here are the basic and normal steps to writing a personal statement. Your opening hooks, talking about some people write their statement in different ways. Either begins with a story or begins with a personal experience. Depends on how you want to approach your statement, but there's no particular standard way to start, except that the scholarship have their own, or the school have their own specific guidelines. So you can follow that to start your essays. Other than that, there's particularly no specific way to begin or write your application. Secondly, we also want to see your motivation or your background. Okay, you want to apply for a program in nursing. Why nursing? What is the story? What's your motivation? What has been your experiences so far? You want to apply for this program. They can also highlight your work, your long-term career goal, and then, you know, how the school is also going to support you. I think I've got to include that here. Highlight your readiness for the program, and also research as well the school site, how you talk about the school and how the school program is going to help you. I'm going to show an example of what later I'm going to show to you guys how it looks like, so you can better tell, you know, how to approach that. Okay. So yeah, this is actually my last slide, but let me go back to personal statement. Any question so that I can grab a statement sample I want to show to you guys. I don't think I have anyone open, so let me find a perfect example. So while we are
We have one
waiting,
question.
okay.
Okay, I'll just ask this question for my sake and for some other persons that already applied scholarships here. So,
Lillian, you are faint. Your voice is very faint. I don't know if it's the same thing with others, but your voice is faint. Or Lucy, could you hear her?
okay, can you
Yeah,
hear me?
it's echoing.
Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay. I'm going to ask, applying for scholarships, right? There are some personal statements that you write and it's going to be passed through AI dictator, right? So most times I actually do mine myself. I mean, I'm a writer and I write my personal statements myself. Mine has not been passed through an AI dictator before. I don't think I've applied for any scholarship that tells me my personal statement is AI generated. But there is this group I am in, and people just keep coming back with serious laments that the AI dictator says their SOP is AI generated and blah blah blah. So how do you think you're supposed to combat that? Probably these things is also from their end. Whatever dictator machine they are using might be broken. And it's coming back to us as if it's our fault. So how do you combat that?
That's a very good question. So sometimes it's very tricky when you want to deal with AI detector. That's another that's a different type of AI detector, right? If you use Grammarly, it might tell you, oh, it's 35% AI, whatever. If you use Originality AI, it will give you a different percentage. So it shows that they are also not even consistent with their results. And before the era of AI, I went to dig out a statement I wrote like 20, like then during our time, there was no AI. So we were writing from our brain the way it was coming. And I could see that it's also detected that there was AI. I'm like, how and where did AI come into this thing I wrote with my brain 2019, maybe 2020? Like, how? So, and then another thing is that there are people who are very good in writing. For instance, for you that say you are a writer, if they give me and you something to write now, your English might be better than my English. Your composition might be better than mine because you are very good at writing. And because you know how to use your words, you're very good at compositions, you're very good at using your English words. They might even say you are AI written, you are AI because you know how to write things. So I think is a gap, which I do not honestly know how they're going to resolve that. And I think it's almost impossible in this era where because why is there AI if it cannot be used for our good? Yeah, that is how I see it. And that's also where when you also write your statement, like I said, even if you want to write it using AI to support you to get your draft, it should also be you. Like it should also sound like you. Which I'll show you one or two examples of some that I've written using AI support. But when you read through the letters, you can tell that okay, I'm seeing more of this person and not AI. Because tell me where you think this is AI written. Just show me because whatever you're seeing here, it is me. Because when you see my CV, you are seeing me in this letter. So, my sister, I don't know how they are going to solve this problem, but this era of AI, I don't know how they want us not to. Even these days at our job, like in my company where I currently work, they have gone. We have what is this? Our AI to call. We have co-pilots that make life easy for me. When I go to a meeting, Copilot, because take meeting note of this meeting. When I'm done, summarize this meeting note for me. Okay, I want to do a report. Draft the report for me. And my work is just to go and check. Is the AI lying or is not lying? They want us to be more efficient. Rather than me trying to write something from scratch with my brain, that would take me maybe 3 working days to do. With AI, I can achieve it in 6 hours. To be honest, I don't know what their plans is around using AI, but I know that their AI tools are also not consistent with the results that they give to us. So which is something that I don't know how they're going to tackle that. But as much as you're writing your essays, just ensure that whatever you are writing, try to ensure that you try to make it sound you and be you. Yeah, that's what I'm going to advise.
Okay, thank you.
I hope that helps and answers your question a little bit because we are all in the AI
Yes,
world.
thank you.
Maybe that's why school are not saying write your letter handwritten. Maybe that's why they're like, if you write it in your handwritten, I will know. Anyway, you can still generate with AI and also handwrite it right. But schools are not coming up with different formats on. Imagine a school will tell you write an essay with just 100 words and expecting me to write something good. What do I want? What good thing should I write with 100 words? So it's really getting really tough these days applying for scholarship because of the way they are making the process very rigid, right? But we have to figure out a way to get through them. Any other question? Any other person, any other question? I'm just trying to grab some samples I want to show to you guys. Yeah, just because you guys didn't bring out any, I would have been very happy to see that I'm using samples from the class, but in my head, let me find, thinking of whose sample to use. Okay, let me grab this one. Just give me a second. Let me quickly grab the one I want to use for this. Okay. Let me get this other one. So like I said, writing a statement, there's really no special way to start a statement except the school gives you a structure to follow. Many schools do share that. Even some essays, some scholarships, they'll add it in their requirement to say, oh, write this like this or write this like that. So it's an example of a reference, a statement that to somebody gave me to review, right? So it's applying for a particular scholarship, a nursing scholarship in the UK, and it gave me this. Men looking at this, I was like, this is AI generated. This is not this guy. Because I don't need to read further. I could see. So the way AI generated content comes is they come very generic, like there's no direction. That's how I see it. It comes very, very generic. I can't even see anything about, oh, your work experience. Okay, what really drove you to studying nursing? What's that motivates you to want to remain in nursing? So everything sounds very generic. And I'm like, oh, if you submit this for a scholarship, they will not even answer you because you have not done any work at all. You want free money, but you're not working to get the money, which is not possible. So, and I'll give you another example. So you can see the different type of scholarships or different ways you apply for different scholarships. So this is someone that is she's a physiotherapist applying for a scholarship or applying for admission in public health, right? So I'm not going to say this is not AI generated because I don't know, right? She just gave me the draft and I helped to refine it to look better. But she had a very good draft, right? Draft that I can resonate with. I can see a human in the writing. So she talked about Nigeria population and some of the problems we have in Nigeria around disability and how they face recovery. And then she talked about what drove her to want to even think about this program. So her experience was now from when she was doing an internship program. So men looking at this, you can tell that, okay, she began with a storyline of, okay, I want to study this program, but this is where I want to start from. And then she went for to talk about other of her work experience before she went in talking about the course she's applying for. So this is where I also hammer a lot when applying for scholarships or writing personal statements. There's no way you're applying for applying for an admission or applying for a program in school and you don't want to talk about how the school is going to help you to achieve the course you are applying for and what in the school inspires you or will support you to achieve those goals. For instance, she talked about, she's applying to this University College Dublin, and talked about some of the courses or the programs that will help her to achieve her goals in the school, right? So if you have space, I would even say research further to see, for instance, you're applying for a nursing program or a health-related program. Some of these schools can have clinical labs. They can have they call them simulation, so what they call them in the UK. Dummy hospitals for the student nurses, where you can have an experience of an actual clinical practical experience. So you can talk about those kind of programs and those kind of facilities, and even mention the name of the facility or what they call the facility in the school, right? So it is good that when you write your statement, try to make it very, very personalized. I can't see what the outline for the statement is again, because I can't find the actual raw file she shared with me. But I just thought to mention to you guys that if you read through this carefully, you can tell how she has aligned this to her personal experience and breaking this down to her community experience and then personal work experience, and then how the school is going to support it, and then what she's going to gain from the school. I have another one here as well that I worked on very recently. This person is applying to schools in France, and it's a course in international commerce and management. So, like now you can see, this person did not begin is later with personal experience, but something generic about her, what area of expertise he is or what he has been up to in the last couple of years, and then how it aligns to the program he's applying for. Then next, it went into talking about your work experience. You can see names, yeah, names that you can will ring in your brain as you apply or as you review their applications. Because when you see this person's CV, you're also going to see the person's all of this in the person's CV and even recommendation letters. Talking about how he's also a co-founder and how he's leading projects and programs. And even in his CV, you can see links to publications of these programs he's talking about. So you can also verify to say, okay, this is me, right? And then down here, talking about what you are going to learn from the school. You can see modules like corporate strategy, intercultural management, and whatever he's going to learn from the school or the course, you have to mention it here as well. So it just tells that this person has done their work. They know what they are coming for. If you throw this into ChatGPT, it's not going to give you all this detailed information, except to give it the right prompt, right? But then, how can I tell, or how can a scholarship body tell that whatever you're writing now, it's actually making sense, and they can use this for your applications? Let me also see if let me just stop sharing my screen shortly because of privacy purpose. Let me just see if I can see another example of a fantastic statement. Open this drive. So I really appreciate if anybody have any work they want me to critically review next week. If you send it on time, it should be great, because that will enable me to have enough time to review the application before the meeting. Okay. And I'm gonna share. All right. Let me share this now. Yeah, so I'll just share one more example. And so another thing that you also need to note is that thank God an experienced writer is here, right? I think or I know that there's how do I say this thing? So one thing I know from experience is that the more you apply and write applications, the more you get better at approaching your writing and your essays and your statements. Like I said to Favor last week, you can't be writing one application or submitting one scholarship in a year, and you think that when you want to write the next one next year, you're going to be better at whatever you're writing. Because the more you write, the more you get to know. And another very important thing I also want to mention when it comes to scholarship, when it comes to applying for what's it called? When it comes to applying for scholarships, right? You're applying for scholarship for different programs. A good thing that will also help you know how to approach the questions is go and look for persons who have won these scholarships before. Many of them usually have YouTube channels and they talk about how they approached their questions when they applied for their scholarship. I was reviewing a scholarship for someone some time ago, and the girl was like, "Oh, I have watched over 5 persons that have made a video about this particular scholarship, and this was what they advised that I should do if I want to write my essays." So they have learned now the strategy from people who have won it, and they want to use that approach to attempt their question. Like I said, there's really no perfect way to start an essay. There's really no perfect way. So it's just getting an idea for people who have done it before and how they have approached it, and use that idea to put your own together. Now, it's an example of somebody applying for a nursing admission and writing a personal statement. It began with how he lost the grandmother due to poor, inadequate medical care. And this is what, and because, and this also have affected other persons he have known in their community. Now, because of this is the reason why he really have interest to study nursing, so that he can also contribute to solving this problem. And due to his experience as well, he began volunteering. And you can see talking about the organizations he's currently volunteering with and what he is doing as a volunteer. And then went further to say, okay, I am doing this, I am doing that, and talking about how the school is applying to, is going to enhance his study through their, they talk about their clinical environment, their dummy hospitals, whatever, how it's going to protect them. So people approach writing statements in different ways. So you have to come up with what works for you or what aligns to what you are applying for, right? So that's what I am going to say. And then this is an essay for one of these scholarships in the UK. And they asked about how will the master study in this university enable you to make a development impact in your home country. So this person is a physiotherapist talking about a particular problem, which is the musculoskeletal disorder. That is the problem, development impact problem is trying to solve in his country. when you get back to Nigeria after school. So talking about what is the problem, what are you currently doing in your country, and what do you think you're going to learn or you're going to achieve now in school that will help you achieve those problems or solve those problems when you get back home. So I would say there's really no particular way to approach the question other than, getting to understand the questions and knowing how to approach the questions or how to go about answering the questions. Yeah, I hope this is helpful. Like I said, if you are applying for a particular scholarship and you're not sure what to do or how to approach the questions, still do well to try to check on the internet or YouTube to see if there's someone who have won that particular scholarship before and see what they advise about how you can approach the questions. If you don't want to go through that stress as well, it's okay for you to also have a draft you can send to us and we can help you review or help you refine. So this is the person I tell you guys that want to write a 300 words essay and sent me over 3,000 words draft that I had to cut down to refine to get to what they are looking for. Okay. Yeah, I guess that is everything I have on my plate today. Let me double check if there's any other thing I want to talk about on the list of documents. I've talked about CV, recommendation letters, SOPs, and essays. For any other thing, which is like your achievement, those can be certificates or documents. For research proposal is more for those who are doing PhD. So I'm not talking about that as well in this session, but you can go online, go on YouTube to see how to write a research proposal. I didn't really prepare for that. And just to also add, it will be good for you to also get an English proficiency letter from your school. Okay, just to also support your applications, especially if you are going to apply to some schools in Europe. They mostly do ask that you submit a letter that confirms that your previous studies were taught in the English language. So it would be good to submit that or have a copy of that from your university or from your previous studies. Okay. Thank you all so much for your time. And if you have any questions, please let me know. And don't forget to follow us across all our social media pages. And also, please follow me as well on YouTube, where I share different info about scholarships. Any question? And I hope this was helpful.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. As for me, I took a lot of lessons from this session, and I hope every other person on this call also took a lot of lessons from here. Don't forget, ScholarWaka is going to be helpful for us all. So make sure to follow them on all social media and get every materials that you need for your next scholarship approach. Yes, somebody's hand is up. Favor, please. You can have the floor.
All right. Thank you so much, Lucy, for the amazing section. Just like I've really learned a lot, and I am more interested in the research aspects,
Okay.
especially in publications, because of the research kind of work I'm going for. Most of the universities ask of my previous research. All right, so I have
Are you applying for
research work,
PhD?
but I'm applying for en route masters.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm applying for en route. So most of my papers are imprints. So I want to get some recommendations for you as to, like, let's say easy publications that are relevant, like maybe just recommendations so that I can publish some of those imprints, and then how to cite it during my application. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. I know that it. So, what sector are you again? Education. What sector are you in? Health or education?
Agriculture.
Okay, agriculture.
Agriculture.
So, for
Yes.
publications, I know that they have different publication bodies. Unfortunately, I'll not be able to advise because me, I don't even have publication experience. I have never published anything. So, I am not so, although I'm currently on the journey to publish at least my MSc project, but I haven't gotten to that stage. But I'm aware that there are different publication bodies for different field of study. So it would be good to check how you're going to find that. Maybe a good way is for you to, if you have, of course, if you are very good with, if you have been writing, I mean that you would have seen lots of research from different persons. So you could maybe search them on LinkedIn and connect with them and ask, oh, how you can go about it. Unfortunately, I don't have any knowledge about that when it comes to publications, but it's good to have them. And how do you cite them? You cite them in on your CV. So when you're writing your submitting your application, talk about it in your CV. And when you're also writing your personal statement as well, you can talk about how you also have experience in research or this area of research. They will surely see the links on your CV. So no need to add the links on your personal statement. Just summarize how you have been doing that. Maybe let me see if I can flash one or two on your screen. There's a few that I worked on recently for someone. Let me see if I can get how we mention her research experience. Let me have a look. Okay, look for a statement that she wrote recently. Okay. So I will just flash one or two on my screen and show you. Okay, let me look for one more to show. All right, I'm gonna share them. Yeah, I work with lots of clients, so I don't want to show their personal information. So this is someone's CV, and you can see what you talk about her. Yeah, you talk about her research experience. So this is her whole CV, but then you can see a part you mentioned research experience and what she has done around research. And then before you see like her work experience and everything I think she has done. You can see this on her CV, which of course, as you're applying for scholarship, you're going to surely attach to your CV. Sometimes it can even be normal publications on magazines. For instance, now assuming you write about, let's assume you're in agriculture, right? And you want to talk about your work and how it aligns to girls' education in STEM, and WAAW Foundation publishes that on their website for you, for instance. You can also add that as well. in your CV. And it shows that it's your publications and it is your work, talking about your work in your field of studies. You can see this person have publication with Vanguard, with Guardian, and then academic publications as well. So that can also is what you can do. This person also have publications around the different projects he is doing with his NGO and other places he's working, even his mentorship that was published by the University of Lagos. He also added it as well to his CV. So it just shows that you have been doing lots of work and projects and you can show this. And for this person that is in the field of whatever business, this is how she talks about it in her CV on her statement. I have developed strong research expertise in this, and I have also authored in multiple peer review publications. She's also a peer reviewer with this journal. So you can also highlight your research expertise as well on your personal statement if the space permits, right? Because you are just shouting those experiences and skills that you have and you want to say this. I would say, yeah, you can publish one or two to enhance your documents and applications. Whatever you have, just put them together and you can also mention them as well in your personal statement. I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you once again, Lucy. Thank you very much for this session. It was really, really enriching for me personally, and I know for other persons, I'll speak for them as well. Okay, so thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. I know you're taking out something. We'll make the recording available in the WhatsApp groups. I dropped that link here, so do well to join the WhatsApp groups, and we will send the recording to this meeting there, just in case you want to remind yourself of one thing or the other. Just to reiterate, please, let's follow ScholarWaka on all social media platforms.
Yes, please.
Please, let's do that. Okay, so thank you, everyone, once again.
All right, then I'll see you
next
guys
week.
next week. If anyone have anything they want us for me to review, I'm happy to have a look at one or two. If it can be sent on or before Wednesday, so I can have enough time to go through them before our last session and yeah, and also on the feedback form, if you have any specific thing you want me to touch on to talk about, you can also mention it on the feedback form or just drop it as well with the WAAW team. They'll communicate that with me if there's any particular thing you want me to also address. Last class, I'm just checking the group if the chat, if there's any question. Okay, there's no question here. Thank you all so much. I hope this is helpful. And please go to ScholarWaka website. We have a lot of information there for you. And just before I forget, if you know that you are really serious about applying or winning scholarship next year, I would say start now, start already. And now, how do you start? First of all, just go search for different scholarships that you know you can apply for. Even if they're going to open February 2027, have them on your list. That's what I talk about, you getting your scholarship tracker, right? It helps you to just have a list of 20 scholarships. Assuming you want to apply for 20 scholarships next year, what are they? How many do you want to apply for? And what is scholarship? What are the documents? How do you begin to prepare? Chevening will soon be here, and everybody want to apply for Chevening, and many people will not be prepared with their essays when it is open, because it's only open for 2-3 weeks or 1 month and it is closed. And then how much time do you have to have a draft, someone to review for you, so you can begin now to look at these Chevening Commonwealth essays, begin to write your draft and begin to, look for someone who will help you review your draft. Just start preparing. That shows that you are really ready for the journey. There are lots of scholarships out there and they need people like you to apply for them. So please don't let these people give the money to somebody else. It should be from our community. Okay, that's our goal. So explore our ScholarWaka page. And yeah, thank you all so much. And have a beautiful evening. All right, thank you so much, WAAW Foundation people.
All right, thank you too.
Bye
Thank
then.
you for
Yeah,
being
bye.
with us. Thank you. All right,
Bye-bye.
to call it a day here. Thank you, everyone.